welcome back to my channel. Super excited. Why? Because I think we all know baking is my #1 passion, and it's been a while since I have had a baking video, I believe. Pretty sure. So with this one, I came across it on Facebook. I want to say it was a Facebook memory that I saw, and when I reposted it, I got so much feedback on it that I knew I had to do it. So here we all are. Now, I have heard of many cobblers. Peach cobbler, pretty much any kind of fruit cobbler that you can think of or dream of, I've heard of it. I'm not quite sure if I've ever made a no, I think I have. I think I have made a couple of fruit cobblers before. I'm pretty sure of it. But I have never ever heard of a chocolate cobbler. So that enticed me too. So I'm super excited to get into this recipe and review it. Plus, #2, it is by Southern Living, which I have made many of their recipes, and I want to say all of them come out amazing. So I'm excited for that too. So you guys, let's pop on over and let's get into this. I'm so excited, aren't you? Alright, as usual, starting left to right, you will notice something very different, you guys. We are missing one very important member of the cast today. No baker's joy. I know, right? I'm just as shocked as you are, and we will see why here in a second. So, but we do have our mini spatula hanging out right there. What up, girlfriend? So, in the back there, we have got a ton of butter. Yeah, cocoa butter, chocolate chips. Now, this recipe does call for semi-sweet, but one thing about me, when any recipe, it doesn't matter what kind of recipe, any recipe calls for semi-sweet, I will always use milk chocolate instead. The reason for that being, I'm not a big fan of semi-sweet, and you're gonna say, well, you're not eating it and you can't eat. That is correct. But when I did eat and I did use the semi-sweet, they were very bitter, and my husband, he feels the same way. So I always opt for milk chocolate instead. So I will always use the milk chocolate. So we've got that, and then in between these sugars, you will see my vanilla. Now we all know that you can't, it calls for vanilla extract, you guys, and I always use vanilla bean paste. That is my one bougie ingredient, if you will. So whenever a recipe says vanilla extract, I will always use my Madagascar vanilla bean paste. You absolutely do not have to use it. That's just my choice. So there's that. And then in the back there, we have our self-rising flour, and then we have our sugars. Now, you'll see that that is divided, and it gives you the exact quantity, and then it'll tell you to divide it. I just have it already divided to save me time. So I've got brown sugar, and I also have the white granulated sugar divided already for me, and then we've got our milk. So we are going to get set up in the middle right here with a medium bowl, and then we're going to move on to the first step. Okay, so I lied. The first step is to place your butter in. Okay, again, this recipe calls for an 11 by 7 inch baking dish. Now, again, I don't own one of her, okay? I have a 9 by 13, so that's what we're going to use. So that's what I did. I placed my butter and I cut it into the cubes just to make for even melting-ish thing. You know, I don't know. It made sense in my head, so that's what I did. So I'm going to put it into the oven, and that's one of the first things that I actually loved about this recipe as well. I'm not spraying it. I'm not coating it. I'm putting the butter right in, putting it into the oven, and letting the oven melt it to coat it. So I'm like, what? Okay. And another thing, y'all, you will notice that at the point in the beginning where I went over the ingredients, you didn't see the water. Now, when it comes to doing the boiling water, I'm going to show you guys a really fun, amazing, if I might say myself, badass trick. This is where it comes to that I will always show you the tips and tricks part comes in. Any hoosers. So we're going to stick this in to our, and it says it doesn't need to be fully preheated in order to melt your butter, obviously. And it says it's going to take about 10 minutes to melt this. If your oven is preheating to 350, I highly doubt it's going to take 10 minutes because my microwave will melt this butter in like 2 increments of 20 seconds. So I'm going to keep a very careful eye on it, and when it's fully melted, I'm going to bring it out. Okay guys, so as I suspected, it did not take 10 minutes in the oven. That was not fully preheated to 350. It only took 2 minutes. So keep a very careful eye on your butter. Otherwise it'll burn. So there it is in the back. And now we're going to put attention onto our bowl that has our self-rising flour. And we are going to put our first ingredient in there. We're going to put our chocolate chips in there, brown sugar. Now, I like to always crumble it because I like the way it feels. And then we're going to grab our cocoa powder. It has 7 tablespoons, and we're only going to add 2 tablespoons of it at this moment. So we're just going to add 2 tablespoons of it at the moment and set the rest aside. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to just stir all of this together, and then we will add more ingredients to it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we grabbed our milk and we're going to grab our vanilla, which I'm using, like I said, the Madagascar vanilla bean paste. And I use this for the more concentrated vanilla taste that you're going to get. Like I said, you can use a vanilla extract. It's perfectly fine. This is just my choice. And I'm going to pour this into the milk, give that a whisk, and then we're going to bring back our dry mixture with the flour and the sugars and the chocolate chip, and then we will combine those together. Oh, and I forgot to say, yes, I do have my silicone oven mitt underneath this just so the glass doesn't slide, so it just keeps it in place for me. So now that I have the milk and the vanilla mixed, look at that. See all the vanilla specks? Love it. We're just going to pour this all into our dry mix and get all that out, and then we're going to give this a good mix, and then we're going to bring over our baking dish with our melted butter. You guys, I can't speak today. And then we'll be right back. Okay, so we have essentially what looks to me like a brownie mixture. Look at that. Oh. See, it's thick like a brownie mixture too. Now it says to pour this on top of your melted butter. Do not stir. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then we're going to get another bowl and we're going to mix the rest of our ingredients together. Okay, so that is what it looks like. Yes, not very appealing. And I don't care how gentle you are or what utensil you use to put your batter on top of your butter, it is going to pull together. So don't worry about that. So now we're going to push her to the back very gently, and we're going to bring another bowl in front of us to start mixing our other ingredients together. Okay, so now we're going to grab the remainder of our cocoa powder, put that into our bowl. The remainder of our brown sugar that I like to play with. Remember, you guys, your mini spatulas, they always come in handy because they can get into your crevasses. Which I know sounds dirty, but you know, it's fun to say. It'll catch on, don't you worry. And the remainder of our regular granulated sugar. And then we are going to mix that, and we are going to move over to another location to the side so I can show you guys what I was talking about with the boiling water. Okay, don't think I'm crazy just yet, because after you're gonna think, holy crap, she is brilliant after all. And you're right, I am. So, right here, I have my, as you can see, Febware kind of a single cup coffee maker type of deal. And this is the attachment that goes onto the back of it, where you put obviously your water. So this recipe calls for 1.5 cups of boiling hot water. Now, I could stand there, I could microwave it, I could use a teapot, this, that, the other, whatever, what have yous. What I have done many a times when a recipe calls for boiling water, specifically my chocolate cake or my chocolate cupcakes, is this is what I do. I will fill it. Now it says 1.5 cups. That's also equal to 12 ounces. This just happens to have, as you can see right there, focus, well, 12 ounces right there. There you go. So, filled it up with my filtered fridge water. Now, this just slips onto the back of this, and I put it back on its stand, like so. Let me bump you back up. When we have the dry mix that we already mixed everything in, and I have my measuring cup down there. So, what I do is I put my measuring cup right there. As you can see, 12 ounces right here. And on the side here, it has where, excuse me, I'm going to be in front of you, a little button I can hit for 6, 8, 10, 12 ounces. Hit start, and it will fill up the measuring cup with 12 ounces of boiling hot water, because there is no coffee cup or any insert in the top here, so it's just going to come out with the steaming, boiling hot water that we will pour right into our mixture. And as you can hear, here it comes. Look at that. Let's see, bring you in for a close-up, guys. See if you can see the steam. See that? Oh. Okay, so now that we have our steaming hot 12 ounces perfectly, we're gonna pour it in to our mixture. Ooh. Oh. And give that a good mix and bring back to the forefront our butter and chocolate mixture. Okay, so we have our butter chocolate mixture back, and now we are going to pour this over. And again, it says do not mix after pouring, and be very careful because this is hot. So we're just going to go ahead and pour this over as evenly as we can, but we have no control over it. So, well, it looks like it's just going to go over it anyway. So what are you going to do? Reach and grab our little mini. Make sure we get all of it. Boy, does that look like a mountain of chocolatey, buttery heaviness if I've ever seen one. So, this says bake in preheated oven until edges are golden brown and mixture is set on top. Approximately, it says it's going to be 30 to 35 minutes. So, knowing me, I am going to start checking it at the 30-minute mark because my oven happens to run hotter. So I'm going to check 30 minutes and show you guys what it looks like when it is done. Okay, guys, so it has been sitting out for about 5 minutes. I only did the 30 minutes, and I am not going to lie to you guys. So one step that I kind of messed up per se, when I put the boiling water into the sugars, apparently you're supposed to just sprinkle the sugars on top and then pour the boiling water just on top of that. Maybe in my mind, maybe I just mixed the boiling water with the sugars, because just pouring boiling water over that didn't make sense to me. I don't have an explanation for you. So when you do that, like I always do, I'm going to link, actually, you know what? I don't think I'm going to link the recipe to this in the description box below. I'm going to write it out just for the simple fact of when I went to go get the recipe from Facebook, I had to go through this link to that link and then scroll this, that, and the other. So it was very frustrating to get this recipe. So I'm just going to write it out for you guys. I'm going to write it out correctly. Don't worry. So Yeah, when you get to that step, I guess sprinkle the sugars and then just pour the boiling water on top. I'm pretty sure that just didn't register in my mind as seeming like the right thing to do. But, so, I am going to scoop it out, and we're going to see if Mr. Chad will try it depending on how flaming hot. But what this is supposed to be...
I will burn my mouth for YouTube.
It says this is 2 desserts in 1. It's supposed to be a layer of tender cake mixed up with warm pudding-like fudge. So, I'm going to scoop it out and plop it into the clear dish right here so we can see if that's what it looks like. Okay, so here's the thing. As you guys know, my oven runs hot, and I took it out at the 30-minute mark. And what it tells you to do is cook it until the corners are crispy and the top is set, which, as you can see in here, it is set. And I went to go take out the corner piece for Mr. Chad, and underneath is... That's not fudge-like. That's soup-like. So, I'm gonna have to preheat my oven to 350 and plop this bad boy back in there for I'm not sure how long. Now, my biggest problem with this is that, number one, my pan is much bigger than the one it called for. It called for an 11 by 7. I'm using a 9 by 13. Why am I having this issue? Now, you guys could say it's because you mixed the water in with the sugars. No, that would not cause the underneath to be soup-like. So, here's my issue with that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm preheating my oven, and I'm going to plop her back in. And then we'll come back and see if we can get it cooked. Okay, so I had to stick it back in the oven for another 11 minutes is what it took to get this sort of consistency that it was saying, the pudding-like texture. So I'll bring it close to you guys so you can see. At the moment, Mr. Chad is tasting it.
Almost done.
I'll have pictures up on my Instagram of the piece that he got so you can see how pretty it is. And it did turn out a little thicker, not too much thicker. Well, I guess it is a lot thicker. As you can see, it's not like sliding around like it did. And the weirdest thing was, is I went back onto Facebook and I rewatched, because there's a video of it too, which most do. And in the video, it'll show you 3 sticks of butter being placed in the pan, and on top of it the writing says 3 cups butter, and I was like, is that where I screwed it up? So I went into the comments of that video and everyone was like, what? And I commented too, please correct yourself, is it 3 cups or 3/4? Because the written says 3/4, but it is 3/4 and not 3 cups. So I'm not sure exactly why. Like I said, it has nothing to do with the water being mixed with the other ingredients, because that was just for the top. So that would have nothing to do with it. But there you go, guys. That is how it turned out. And there was no vanilla ice cream like it suggests, because Chad absolutely loves his Cool Whip. So that is what he got, was Cool Whip on his. So, what we have is an empty bowl.
That was good. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of chocolate lava cake.
Ooh, yeah.
Like a brownie chocolate lava cake, if that makes any sense.
Well, yeah. That makes perfect sense, because that's what the top also looks like, is a brownie.
Yeah, no, it's good. It literally is. Well, when you put your spoon in it and then lift it up, it looks exactly like a chocolate lava cake.
Did you get the overwhelming taste of butter? That
I tasted the butter, yeah.
was it overwhelming? Because that was my fear.
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
No, it was chocolate. If you like chocolate, there you go. It's like chocolate coma.
There you go. There you go, guys. Check that out. Chocolate cobbler. Who would have thunk? Definitely not me until now. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It was kind of frustrating for me to get that. I'm not sure what the heck went wrong there. I know should have just poured the water on by itself, but that's not enough to do what that did, so I don't know what the heck went wrong there. But apparently, hey, if you like chocolate, just bake it longer. That's my suggestion. It says 30 to 35, but I would shoot more for maybe like the 40-minute mark and check it then, and then you might be good. Either way, if you like chocolate, you'll absolutely love it. So that's my one thing with that. So if you watch the video, forget when it says 3 cups of butter, because it's not 3 cups, it is the 3/4. That's what it is. So there you go for that. I hope you at least enjoyed seeing my beautiful face. I'm just kidding. Fuck, am I kidding? Anyway, I love you guys. Please always view it before you do it, because you might see crap like this happen, which may be funny. I don't know. Could be. I don't know. Because I will always show you tips and tricks like the conversions from the cups to ounces. That might be helpful for some people too. So, and with the coffee, little doodad trick with the boiling water, right? Did you know? I bet you didn't. It took me a while to figure it out. It was just a little. Oh. Anyway, you guys, I love you. Thank you so much for joining me if you're new, and if you are my OGs, I love you guys more than life itself. You know this. So, from my kitchen, my home, and my heart to all of yours, you guys, I love you very, very much. And as always,